Hello, what's up? What's up, everybody? This is Crystal Willis. I'm the founder of I Am Global Music, the independent artist management global network. And it is my goal and mission to create and build a community for independent artists to connect with music business professionals in innovative ways. So we are using the power of Google Hangouts and YouTube Live via webinar style to bring you some knowledge. We're dropping today. You're going to get to hear from a couple of really huge movers and shakers in the industry. And so I'm going to introduce myself while we wait for a few people to pop on. My name's Crystal. I've been in the industry for over 13 years. I started out as an executive assistant and worked my way up to a music publicist for a record label. Quit my record label day job because I'm really passionate about musicians and independent music, and I wanted to be able to have the freedom to collaborate with whoever I chose and also just continue to do more consulting and coaching. So that brings me to BUZZIN 101. So this is a concept for a video webinar series or a music business course that will take place completely online. And today's course is completely free class. If you have registered and you are tuning in, then you are one of the lucky ones today, because let me tell you, we're going to drop some serious game on you today. I have a couple very special guests you're going to hear from. One is joining me all the way live, Jennifer Horton, the president of Matrix Artists, and the other was pre-recorded shortly before this broadcast earlier this morning, Grammy and MTV VMA winner Fat Man Scoop. He's a touring recording artist, hype man who has been around for decades and has a solid career. So again, I'm just here to bring a gang of movers and shakers to you guys, to drop some game on you guys. You're also, if you access pass, which I'm going to tell you about at the end, you're going to also get some hands-on feedback and guidance from me. I'm going to offer some one-on-one consulting to you as well. And some homework assignments, some really helpful tools that I think you need to have and study. And so we're going to work together over the next few weeks. And I've got even more speakers to bring to you all. People like Roderick Scott, who is a pro at digital marketing, branding, and communications. He worked with Warner Brothers for a very long time. He's got some new things coming down the pipeline as well. You're going to hear from Adrian Swish, who is the president of Swish International. He's also a publicist at the Alumni Group. He manages booming artist right now in California named AD, and he's worked with Kid Ink, as well as you're going to hear from DJ Escalade from 102.3 KJLH, who has broken records in the clubs, on the radio. You're going to also hear from Cecilia the Mamacita from 93.5 K-Day. She's going to also share some of her tips on radio and streaming and your image and all of that. So I'm really excited to bring some of my industry colleagues and friends to your inbox, you guys, straight to your YouTube channels. So if you're not already, follow the I Am Global Music YouTube channel. Check us out at www.iamglobalnetwork.com, and you can look for that all access pass right where you signed up for this free class at bit.ly/iamglobal101. All right, so I'm going to jump in and go ahead and get started today. I have a guest that's going to be joining me today, as promised. She is Jennifer Horton, Matrix Artist, and she is super pro. So Jennifer, why don't you go on ahead and turn on your video for us and join us.
All right, testing 1 2 3. Okay, we're good, we're on.
There she is. Look at that beautiful fresh face. Wow. All right, I'm so honored that you joined us, Jennifer. So I'm just going to give a little background on you a little bit, and you can feel free to add whatever you want. So as president of Matrix Artists, you bring years of hands-on experience in strategy, execution, for deal making, A&R, branding, video content production, licensing. You've worked with major artists, you've worked with independent artists, you've worked with corporations and brands as well. And some of the talent that Jennifer's worked with is Amber Rose, Sierra, Chris Brown, The Rejects, Lil' Kim, the Dolls, members of Danity Kane. She's a powerhouse, you guys, and I'm really honored that she joined us today, that she's bringing all this super knowledge to independent artists. Say that they want the help. So here we are, we're bringing it to them live. I'm interested also in hearing a little bit more about this new venture you have, whatever else you got going on, but especially the Horton Wesley initiative, about that.
Well, I'm glad you asked about that. It's really new. It's something that I feel like is going to be more and more important as things unfold, since music and tech are basically combined and merged at this point. I think that there's a really exciting initiative out there that comes from, it's called STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So it's something that they're focusing on from an education standpoint in schools, but there's starting to be corporate support for programs that can merge people that basically have an interest in the arts, but also want to have a technical background or a science background. So some of the things that, we've seen a lot happen in the app space, we've seen a lot happen in the streaming space. But what's powering all that is really, from a coding or a computer engineering standpoint, or even in applications and in live, like we've seen, 3D touring and things of that nature. So there's, pretty much none of the music that is made or that we experience in a concert setting could happen without the bright minds of all the scientists and engineers that push, technology and research forward. So the Horton Wesley initiative is basically something that we're putting together where we want to bring our arts community and team up with corporations that are committed, like Intel, like Xerox. Like there's big behind the scenes corporations that people don't even think about how instrumental they are to supporting research and development, because kind of like artist development, somebody has to pay, to be able to provide resources for a scientist or an engineer to, try out a test product or try out a possible, hypothesis that they have. So it's about supporting that and kind of merging that together. So I feel like that's going to be really important in the future. And I'm reading the Elon Musk biography right now. So for anybody who's bought Tesla and SpaceX, and we're just at a really exciting time of pushing technology forward, but the arts is part of everyone's life in so many ways. So merging those two is a really exciting intersection.
Absolutely. I was just telling somebody the other day, like, buying stock in Tesla, buying stock in Spotify once they go public was like, that's definitely the move. But definitely, keeping your ear to new technologies, and finding ways to incorporate your music as an artist into these apps and into these new technologies. There's so many new ways to make money, and we're really working on, as an industry, filling that value gap as well. So the goal of the BUZZIN 101 course is to get indie artists up to speed. Industry, yes, they should do their homework just like the CEO of a record label would, I feel. But we're bringing it to them. We're connecting them with useful tools and professionals like yourself. So I know you teach on the faculty of the LA College of Music, and you've helped design their music business program. So I'm interested to know, building a team, artists with very limited resources, attract professionals like us, and how can they those relationships as artists?
Well, yeah, so at LA Music, they started a 4-year music business program. There's also a 2-year version of the program, but our goal in creating it was to make sure, I'm sorry, I need to, uh-oh, what's happening? Technical difficulties, hold on.
All right, she'll be right back. We're just going to show you my video screen. Maybe you hit the video button by accident.
Yeah.
Building a team, I think, is key. A lot of the feedback that I get from indie artists, indie musicians, is that they either can't afford a publicist, they can't afford a radio promoter, get a manager to sign them, and so
We're back.
yeah.
Apologies, but no, exactly what
Oh, there she is.
touching on. So part of why we wanted to create the program it launched the fall of 2015, but part of our goal was to teach it in a very now kind of a way. I feel like when I was entering the industry, starting off as an intern, working my way up, a lot of this information was just not readily accessible. You really had to hope to meet people and pick their brain and hope that you could get some choice, kind of words of wisdom, or else it was, reading all the books everyone knows. Actually, it's on my desk right now, the All You Need to Know About the Music Business book. But, I think that stuff has reflected the previous paradigm of the music industry, where things were more structured in terms of there was only a couple of paths. Now there's sort of I don't want to say an infinite number of paths, because they still can be grouped into lanes of how, you either break through viral, you break through live, you break through, there's still categories, but it was really geared toward the traditional trajectory of, getting a demo and getting to a record label, and who needed to be part of your team to get there, and then who needed to be part of your team as soon as you got there, i.e. an attorney needs to review this 100-page contract, a business manager might need to help you take this big advance and spread it out and pay your taxes. But team for us, in the class that I teach, building the artist team, and just the way that I've approached the independent artists that I've worked with, is team is whoever, is going to be core to what your brand is as an artist. So for example, if your brand is that your live performance is a big component of who you are, then your first team member might be, your band members that help you put your show together, and that consistent musician, that one drummer, that one guitar player that's always there, to where you're like, look, if I book a show, are you going to be there? Me and you do the show, just me and you on a guitar with backing track. That person could end up, being an ongoing team member in your career. Maybe then you meet someone who's an up and coming, booker at a local venue. Maybe they take a special interest in you, and they kind of start making some calls on the side. Like, that's a team member. So I think that traditional sense of manager, attorney, business manager, publicist, that still is who you're going to ultimately end up with once you're fully in business. But it's kind of similar to, the interest of entrepreneurism, startups. Everybody doesn't start with the same set of resources. Everybody doesn't start with, the same amount of money in the bank every day. Some people are really able to get out of the box creative solutions, and that's to their credit, of who kind of gets past the obstacles and who gets stuck on, well, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. So, I think that ultimately you are trying to polish your music first and foremost, but also sort of your overall presentation of your artistry, of your brand, in order to attract a professional. But don't overlook the people that are right under your nose. Those could be your first team members. Another example would be people that build up a following through social media. So if you can team up with an up and coming director, let's say, that wants to shoot content and is willing to edit it and work with you on a consistent basis, and you guys kind of create, almost a partnership in that, then that can be your first team member. I mean, Famous Dex, for example, is an artist that I got brought in to consult for, last year through a friend of mine who was managing him, and his YouTube videos that put him on the map were all done by the same company, and his music was all done by his immediate, basically friends, and they identified the ones out of all the friends, of course, that want to be in the studio, the ones that were going to really consistently make, produce and do all the mixing and getting everything done. That was his team. Through that team, he was able to put out a consistent amount of quality product, as well as working his local market, and that allowed him, you know, to kind of have a breakout moment with Drip from My Walk. So I think there's a lot of team members that you want to first look at that are in your circle, but make sure people know what their strengths are. You know, if someone's really good with social media, then say, hey, I really need your help with social media, but maybe then don't expect that person to figure out how to book you shows, you know. So expectations. So just keep looking,
Absolutely.
you know, keep looking for people that believe in you. But that believe in factor, you know, is really important. First and foremost, it's about having a common vision, setting a common goal, and saying, hey, I'm going to join you on this journey as part of your team. Maybe I'm going to join you for 3 months. Maybe it turns into 3 years. But I think that the expanded version of team is kind of what we or how, you know, we've approached it in our program. And even moving further, if you're a little bit down the line, you've gotten some placements, you know, your ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC rep can be a huge part of your team. They're not your exclusive team member, like just for you, but if they're, you know, believing in you and setting up sessions, like that's a team member. So.
Yep, absolutely. That's really interesting that you said that. And I think that it's great for independent artists to really look at this like a business and look at it like a leader, an entrepreneur, a manager would. Identify the strengths of those around you to do everything. Like, this is your career, boss of it, and don't sit passively and just wish that you had go banging on a manager's door or on a publicist's door when you don't have a product ready to release, or you don't have a band together or a live show together. You know, like there's levels to this shit. You feel me? Anyway, so all right, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about deals and the independent route. What do you think is the benefit of one to the other? Yeah, you know, things have adapted. They've really shifted. So should independent artists be seeking?
You know, I think that there's a lot of talk of, you know, the DIY route, and I think that became available, you know, on a major level to people, you know, what I would say, maybe it's been like 8 years, you know, now, or even kind of like the MySpace days. I feel like for music, when that really first broke out, that people felt, hey, I can get a following and I can translate that into booking shows, etc. So, you know, we've been in a DIY phase, let's say, for approaching a decade. And I think that all those tools are there, but yet you still see only still a certain amount of acts rise to, you know, the level of success as what I would call a working artist, meaning that you are able to consistently support yourself, whether you're a celebrity or not has nothing to do with it, whether you're able to consistently support yourself as a working artist, or, you know, what crossover into national or international success or awareness. You know, there's still only so many artists that are reaching those heights. And I think that it just shows that while there are more tools, you still need to know how to navigate with these tools, and you still have to fight for those top spots. There's only so many top spots. We're still in a competitive industry, and media, any kind of content, you know, is still only, it's only going to get out there as much as you can market it and promote it, you know, because that is ultimately how you reach the end user. The end user can be, yes, your immediate fan base, but the rest of the end users are the constant, you know, exposure to new potential fans or new consumers, or, you know, you have to be constantly building your fan base. Otherwise, you know, it's like you're kind of marketing basically over and over to the same people, and they might grow out of it, or, you know, you might shift and do something different musically, and now they don't like it. So the idea of being able to, at some point, align with professionals, let's just start with professionals. You know, maybe it's not, again, maybe it's not always a label. Maybe your first professional sort of leg up is a management company. Maybe it is a production company that is able to put you in the studio where they can really improve or enhance on the music you're making, get you access to, you know, more diverse production or better songwriters. So those are the first steps a lot of times that really improve your artistry and help development. So, and or you might choose to just go straight TuneCore distribution. And initially you might figure out, well, this is great. I can upload when I want to upload. I can control my own timing. But eventually you're going to hit a question mark of who and how am I marketing and promoting myself to? Because now when the initial excitement wears off that you're able to make your own music available for sale, you realize that it comes down to sales, and it comes down to strategies and these other things that are going to set you apart. So I think that's where you still are going to want to employ professionals. Now, if you are able to get a local following, let's say you're able to monetize your music through iTunes, let's say you're doing local shows, you're able to make some money. Maybe the next step for you is to hire a publicist using that money and expand your reach a little more. Get some local press, like solidify what you're doing, and then, parlay that into the next thing. So I would say that, jumping straight to the label conversation, I think there's a general sentiment that people, not because there's really something wrong with the structure. I mean, you could argue all kinds of different ways about what's in label contracts and is it fair and whatnot. But really, when it comes down to it, a label plugs you into financing first and foremost, and it plugs you into a system and an infrastructure that is going to take you beyond wherever you are. If you're already known virally and you're known in the US, the label is going to take you international. If you're already known in your region, then, or in your city, let's say, and you're the hottest new thing out of Chicago, the label is going to first work you in your region in the Midwest. So I think that the label concept is always, they're a partner, but they're also a backer. They're an investor, and they're also a staff. There's hundreds of people. If you're at a major, there's thousands and thousands of people that are potentially able to be triggered to push your music further. If you're at an indie label, even the power of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that are dedicated to your project is huge. And then the funding that is necessary to, a lot of times people have money for this, but not that. So it's like, well, I can get the publicist, but I can't hire radio. Or I know somebody that can help me get to DJs, but then I have no interview set up. So what a label can allow you to do is trigger those things all at one time. And that's when people feel like, okay, wow, this album is releasing. I'm seeing it. I'm hearing about it. I'm reading about it. That's because it's called a campaign. To do a campaign, you need this team. Now, that all being said, if you are a savvy business person, if you are the Diddy type, then you're able to orchestrate your own campaign. And as a matter of fact, you might even feed off of the energy of being able to tap all these different people, run your own meetings. Hey, everybody, this is what we're going to do. Every Friday, we're releasing a new song, assign people roles, responsibilities. So somewhere in here, whether it's label deal, the great news is that while you're figuring it out, you do have the potential to monetize, your music, which to a certain extent, people have always been selling their CDs out of the trunk of the car. So you could monetize it, in different ways. But I think that viral monetization, the big thing is that it allows for discovery. And that's kind of what everything is depending on right now in terms of the success of independent artists with streaming and just online in general, is this idea of discovery. If I buy this, does yours pop up next? If I watch this video, does yours pop up next? And if you're putting content out there, then you are in the running for discovery, versus years ago, if I'm selling CDs out of my car, I'm from Houston, so Master P, No Limit, UGK, all those guys, Swab House, that's how they all started. But when I moved to New York for college, nobody knew any of those artists. Like, I was blown away. So there wasn't the opportunity for discovery by another region unless, again, you went and worked it. So, I think that absolutely everyone should start to be more conversant with the tools for DIY to understand streaming and distribution. There's great opportunities with distributors from In-Group, TuneCore, to Empire, and so on, that will give you a little bit of a resource to do distribution. But ultimately, you're going to need to figure out what your game plan is. And getting to the level of a major label is still a huge accomplishment, and it still is the quickest way to get your product out internationally on the biggest levels. So
absolutely, absolutely. I worked for the labels for almost 10 years, and I really I'm keenly aware that it's just another lever you can pull. But it doesn't make up for all the work you had to do before, because really the labels aren't the business of artist development anymore, because there are so much of this, DIY available. They're looking for artists that are already doing it for themselves. They're already committed, they're already invested, and when they say they're going to show up somewhere, they show up. Things like this are really important. So next question. Let's see, would you give to new artists looking to book more shows and go on tour? I know you've worked with a lot of major touring acts.
Absolutely. Booking more shows, and going on tour. So I think first and foremost, people want to see that you've been able to win over your home base. So, your any access that you have, where you live, you should absolutely be playing every possible venue, and you should be making relationships with the promoters and the bookers of those local venues, because often that is how people get the opening spot. When the bigger act comes to town, the local promoter, the local booker will say, well, hey, this person would be a great local act. Sometimes they don't have an opener, or sometimes there's additional slots on the bill and they have a local act spot. The biggest thing that is important for shows is selling tickets. So anyone is going to perk up when they hear that you are able to sell X amount of tickets, or, especially on a consistent basis. I would say doing it every so often is kind of like having a birthday party. It's like if you only do one show, every blue moon, it's like, well, yeah, everyone's going to come because they're going to come out and support your birthday or whatever. But when you're able to get a consistent following, then that starts to mean something's taking root in terms of people reacting, responding to your live show. So one great thing that I recommend is getting a residency somewhere. And whether the venue markets themselves as doing residencies or not, that's something that you could ask for and pitch to them, because it really is just a marketing
Hey, can I every Saturday? Or hey, could I come and do a show every Sunday and I'll bring my band?
Exactly. And it could be even a 4-week residency is enough that you can now do a whole different marketing campaign for yourself. You can make a really great promo flyer. You can list all the dates. All of a sudden, it looks like you have 4 shows, not just one show, and then with that being said, as you're marketing, just like when you have a party, right? There's inevitably all those people that were like, oh, if it was just next Saturday, I could be there, right? So then when you have a residency, you say, we can't make this one, we'll come to the next one. Keep track of your RSVPs. If you're doing RSVPs, or keep track of your ticket sales. Try to reward people if they buy the tickets. There's all kinds of fun incentives you could do. Bring a friend for free, etc. And if you're willing to kind of work on that aspect, that's really going to be something that no one can take away from you. If you can sell those tickets, then again, going back to the opening act slot, a lot of times the promoters say, well, what local act do we have that's good for or can sell, i.e., 50 tickets, 100 tickets, and on from there. If a local act can bring in 250 people, well, if I'm a mid-level act touring, let's say, some market, Houston, for the first time, and the promoter says, well, we've got this act, they've been doing blah, 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 they bring in about X amount of people. Well, that sounds pretty good to me, because I'd rather have an opener that has a following that we can count on, than just somebody's friend of a friend who's a really great singer. So touring ultimately comes down to getting people in the venue. And then the other part of it is, sorry.
I said butts and seats.
Yes, exactly. And that's the artist's job. I think artists tend to think that that's the promoter's job, but if you rely on the promoter, it's just like anything else in life. You're not taking control of something that, in that case, is really within your control. And that's been back from grassroots eras of, bands since there were bands, is like the garage band idea, and you build yourself up and friends of friends, and then friends tell other friends, and all of a sudden, you know, you have this following. So that's absolutely something that artists need to be very in touch with from day one. And those people are the people that are taking their time and their money to come. You know, we all, you know that motivation factor that it takes to get in the car, pay to park, you know what I mean? Go
Yeah.
in, you're gonna buy a drink. So if they're coming to see you, like, cherish these people, make sure that you do something for them, you know, do meet and greets, try to really learn fan engagement early on. It's going to help to build a base. And then that kind of parlays into the question about touring, because the two ways for newer artists to get on a tour is what they call a buy-on, which again means that you're basically paying for that slot, because you're going to get the marketing and the promotion of saying you're on this tour with, let's say, a bigger artist. And then the artist can look at that as an income stream to help them cover their costs, because there's tons of costs when you go on the road. So a lot of times, you know, artists are really trying to figure out how to be profitable on the road. Even if they have a song out, you know, they still are paying for bands and, you know, gas and hotels. So there's a buy on slot, or it could be, you know, working in a local or regional capacity where you're able to sell tickets, and someone says, if you've ever noticed, where artists will have different openers on different legs of their tour. So someone might do the West Coast leg because they have a following in the West Coast. Then they'll switch to a different opener for the Southeast leg. Then they'll switch to a different opener for the Northeast leg. So that's usually dependent on where those openers have pull or relevance in the local market. So those are a few ways to tap in.
That's awesome. Okay, so just one more question. I think we're about ready to wrap up. So we know the industry saw about an 84% increase in streaming revenue in the US the last year, according to Nielsen. So what bit of advice do you have for indie artists on getting their streaming numbers up?
Okay, well, I think, you know, similar to what we were touching on earlier, putting out consistent content really allows not only your fans, but other people who may discover you. It gives them a reason to check back to your page. If I find someone that I like and they have one song up on SoundCloud, I think it's amazing and I play it 100 times, but every time I go back and check, I don't see anything about when the next song's coming. I don't see, you know, any new songs. I don't even see like a cover or something. Then it makes me think that maybe this person's just not that active, and my attention kind of goes on and moves on elsewhere. So I think consistency of releasing material is going to help you capture some of the people who might be discovering you and reeling them in. Like, you want to reel in fans that are then going to click the follow button, or that are then going to click the download button. You know, and then those fans are going to share, and that's basically how the whole thing starts going. You know, if you can get people that are excited, that are sharing, then that's the organic way. I think, you know, there's the main focus right now in terms of discovery on streaming is the idea of playlisting. So study the playlist just like people study, you know, the radio charts, and you should still study what's up, you know, what's new on radio in your market, just so you get a sense of what they're playing and what's getting to their radar. But when you look at all these playlists, you really have to be aware of your genre of music and kind of what it fits in with, so that if someone is looking to group songs together, which a lot of blogs now, they have their own playlist. So as much as you're pitching to the blog for a feature, you could say, hey, could you add my song to your Spotify playlist? And, you know, if your song goes really well with another song, then that's something that sonically people are starting to pay attention to, how to group those songs into, you know, shareable also lists, because the playlist becomes shareable. So if the songs really flow together, great. Let's say I know the first 3 songs and then there's an unknown song, but if it fits, I don't even notice that I don't know this song, and now I'm curious. Now I want to know, who is this person? So in the same way on YouTube, you know, people have been figuring that out obviously for some years now, whether you're creating lyric videos, you know, whether you're creating sort of homemade videos, but just create kind of like a brand. If you're doing visuals, make sure that it's something that you've thought out that matches the rest of who you are, and at whatever level you can do that with budget, you know, just be consistent. And I think then that's what catches people's eye, because right now just about saturation, and anytime that there's saturation, everybody just has to work that much harder to be seen. So the tools are all there, the opportunity is there, and it's really just, you know, who's going to persevere, who's going to hustle, who's going to go hard, and just do things like this. Tune in to the next webinar. The music.
And that's awesome. Wow, you're really a hustler too. So, I mean, I know your busy schedule makes it a super honor. I'm very grateful that you tuned in, that you're doing it for the culture of independent music, as well as continuing to work with the major acts that you work with. So thanks for joining us. And
hey, good luck to everybody.
Ready to go. We're going to show some other stuff, and you can share with us anything else you got going on if you like.
Oh, well, definitely. I mean, you know, I think one thing that's exciting right now is kind of the reemergence of live, all the festivals. So one of our artists, FKI First, he's signed to Matt Decent. He's an amazing producer and DJ. So look out for him. He executive produced the Post Malone album, so we work really closely with Post, and he has a lot of new content coming out. The Rejects are on a college tour. They are still cat daddying it up, but they also have a project called Homeless Billionaires. Been with those guys for a long time. They're, you know, always finding ways to reinvent, and I love that. Chris Brown is on tour right now, worked on his last couple albums, so we'll see what's coming for this new album. You guys obviously can already see that that's on the way. And Black Pyramid, Miho, who's his director of design, they've just been really successful with launching the Black Pyramid line, so we're really excited about that from a fashion branding and all the pop-up stores. But you know, anyway, so much new stuff out there. Just follow us at Matrix Artists, and follow me at Jennifer JRH, and you know, definitely tag me on stuff on Instagram when I have time. I definitely do go and watch people's stuff or click on pages. So you know, discovery, it can happen. You know, you never know. Just connect and go from there.
That's so awesome. All right, thanks, Jen. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. Appreciate you.
Sure. Okay, take care.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye. I use the tripod. Yeah.
Got. We had a wonderful, wonderful talk with Jennifer Horton from Matrix Artists. She is powerful. That was really powerful discussion, you guys. Wow. So I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. As my life coach, Amber Valdez, likes to say, the whole design behind this broadcast, behind BUZZIN 101, is to bring to you the professionals, right to your desktop, right to your mobile phone. And there's no excuses. I really, truly believe that independent artists, they get to take advantage of all of the tools that are out there, and that it is work. You get to run this like it's your own business. So with BUZZIN 101, I'm doing a whole series. There's going to be at least 3 or 4 other videos. We're going to be diving into things like radio promotion, digital marketing, and publicity. So it's important for you to sign up for that all access pass. Just go back to the link where you registered. There is another product available there. I'm going to offer you lots more training. You're also going to get these recordings delivered to your inbox to replay whenever you like. You're going to get a one-on-one consultation with me where I'll go over and look over what you've been doing, maybe give you some advice on what areas you can start to build your team and build your strategy. I'm passionate about marketing consulting and publicity consulting. So again, quality of your music and your live performance is number one. That should be your number one priority, in addition to building relationships. I believe that you get to invest in yourself, and that spending money on things like or pop-in bottles at the club is cool, but does it move your music career forward? Does it help you to brand yourself? Does it help you to create and release content more consistently? Things we get to think about what's really a priority in our life. And so I hope you guys will find what I'm giving you here a priority, and also see the need for connecting with professionals. We're here, we're passionate about supporting you, but you got to want it for yourself. You got to support yourself. And I also think it's really key to do your homework. All right. So at the end of this broadcast, I hope you will stay to the very end, because I'm going to share some very useful tools with you. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework for those of you who are planning to join us next time. You'll have some homework. It's just reading, but it's really, really important material that's going to put you up on game on where the music industry is at, the trends, where things are going, ways to be innovative, and also watch how your money flows. So pay attention to all that. But right now, what I want to do is bring in our next guest. And our next guest is a Grammy winner. He's an MTV VMA winner. He consistently tours internationally and performs in front of tens of thousands of people. His name is Fat Man Scoop. And if you guys have heard that song, got $100 bill, put your hands up. Single ladies, I can't hear y'all. That's Fat Man Scoop. So you might not know his face, but trust me, you know his voice. And in order to bring this interview to you guys, I had to pre-record it this morning because he's already on his way to his next stop. So I'm going to actually share my desktop screen with you and share that broadcast from earlier today. Just give me 1 second to pull it up. All right. And this was just recorded this morning, so you guys check it out. I hope the sound quality and the buffering quality is good enough. If it's not, just shoot me back an email, and I am going to make sure you get a link to watch this directly, okay? To all my registered students, feel free to reach out to me, all right? And if you haven't registered yet, go to bit.ly I am Global 101, and make sure you sign up for that all access pass. We have a lot more speakers coming over the next few weeks. So here is my interview with the amazing Fat Man Scoop this morning. Okay, so apparently there's some issues with the video quality. I just tuned in to my own broadcast to double check that video quality for you guys. So um, I'm not happy with your ability to hear that man's scoop. So what I am going to do is deliver that recording to you directly. If you registered on the Bitly site and you would like to watch that Man Scoop video, please look to your email as soon as this broadcast is done, and I will share that with you directly. If you are just tuning in or you're watching this on a replay, then I am going to encourage you to go and sign up, register on the website, and I will make sure you get that. All right. So the website for you guys, in case you need it again, is bit.ly/IamGlobal101. I'll spell it for you. It's bit.ly/IamGlobal101. So if you register there, I will make sure that you get it, and anyone who registers for that free class will get it. Email me. You can go to my website, www.iamglobalnetwork.com, or you can email me at iamglobalnetwork@gmail. And I'll make sure you guys watch that Fat Man Scoop video, and I may even upload it to my channel directly, because Fat Man Scoop drops some dope knowledge. This is the first time we've ever done a webinar like this. And so Google Hangouts was the natural solution because I wanted to be able to stream live to you guys through YouTube. I have several other services that I could use, so I may also look to a better quality service for our next class. I think that it's important that we have the best quality sound and streaming so that you guys can watch live and ask questions and be involved. So I may be moving this platform and then just posting the videos on this channel afterward. But I really want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed some of the knowledge that we brought to you today, definitely from Jennifer. I know you could hear Jennifer, right? She's so dope. Listen, I've got more speakers to bring to you guys. I've got Roger Scott, formerly from Warner Brothers. He's got some great things in his pipeline, and he is a great colleague of mine. He actually is the one that taught me how to do PR, along with Richie Abbott, who works with Tech9 and a whole lot of other artists like Kendrick Lamar. And so yeah, I've got over a decade in the business that I want to bring to you all. And I'll be doing that through the BUZZIN 101 video webinar series, so make sure you guys check it out. Follow me. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram. I'm at I Am Global Music. I'm also at my personal Instagram, which is at Miss MS Willis, Crystal spelled CRYSTAL, Willis, WILLIS. So it's ms.crystalwillis. You can find me there. I'm also at Lip Lady Fab. I have a fashion blog, a health and fitness blog. So yeah, there's some interesting information that I want to share with you guys, and I hope you're still tuning in. If you are watching this, I will also make sure that you get this delivered to your inbox. So this is part of your homework for this week. If you are going to be joining us for the next broadcast, and I know you will, because we have a ton more info for you guys who are interested in getting more radio spins, you're interested in landing more blog interviews, website reviews of your album, just increasing your streaming numbers, your download numbers, your presence, your overall image. I'm going to be working with you all on that. So first things first, just like any CEO of a record label would, you get to shit. All right? Excuse my French, but know your shit and cover your bases and do your homework. Know what's going on in the industry. Know what legislative changes are happening and how they affect you. Know how your money flows. Not everybody got to go to a big music college like LA Music College or like Berklee College of Music, where I went. But that doesn't mean the information is not out there. It's out there for you. All you have to do is take time, like any boss would, and discover it. So I'm going to share my screen with you while I'm talking and show you some information. So this to your inbox if you've registered for the class is let me see if it's going to let me share it. There we go. That these are widely available online. You just have to search for them. But for this class, you're going to get them in your inbox. All right. The year-end music report, which is put out every year by Nielsen Music. All right, every year Nielsen puts out a report, a year-end report of the global music industry. Sales numbers, what artists were popping, trends. They investigate risks and opportunities that are happening, trends that are happening in the industry right now. So this is one piece of going to be key standing. Also, I've got some really interesting information from Berklee College of Music that has to do with how music payments flow for songwriters, artists, publishers, and labels. It's also a report done near the end of 2015 that has a lot to do with fair music and getting paid today and how things are shifting. So it's really, really key information for anybody who's an independent artist to understand. Here is also related for independent artists because it is the Nielsen social media report. So it's not necessarily about music, but it's interesting to understand what trends are happening around consumers' use of mobile devices and computers, and important stuff for you to understand. And here's just one example right here where we see that light social media users, less than 1 daily hour of social media, bought items on the internet in the past 12 months that 41% of them bought clothing or accessories. 14% downloaded music here at the bottom. To see that clothing or accessories, 41% bought on the internet. Obviously, this is just a general report on trends. But it's important to know if you're diversifying your streams of income as an artist, that merchandise is something that you could really look at to supplement your income. Right here is the Global Music Report. This comes out, guys. The Global Music Report is put out by the IFPI, and there is just pages and pages exactly of figures on global recorded music revenues, streaming trends, performance rights growth, both sectors, performance rights and synchronization revenue. We're going to see a lot of growth in the coming years, in addition to the boom of streaming revenue. Streaming revenue was up overall 60.4% the last year and 84% in the US. So we are actually right now total shift, industry-wide shift to streaming, which means that listeners are shifting from ownership to access, and more people are adopting those paid subscription models, the premium Spotify, premium Zoom, things like that. You're going to find information about Spotify holding a 43% share of music streaming. It's going to compare information on different artists and all of that. So all of that is really, really useful information. So guys, I want to definitely thank you. Thank you for joining our very first BUZZIN 101 video webinar class. Today we brought you some dope knowledge from Jennifer Horton, president of Matrix Artists, Fat Man Scoop. And while the quality of that video wasn't broadcasting properly, I have it. It's crisp, it's clear, and I am down to deliver it directly to you. So just make sure you're registered for the course. It's as simple as putting in your name, and hit submit. Okay. But I really want to encourage you guys, if you are picking up what I am putting down, as my life coach likes to say, then you get to sign up for the all access course. And that will include 4 weeks total of these video webinars with guest speakers, and I promise you there will be good quality on all of the video speakers. And also you're going to get, some of these are going to be hands-on. So as a publicist, one of my specialties is EPKs and bios and press releases and things like that. So I'm going to drop some dope knowledge on you guys on how you can DIY until you're able to hire a publicist. And I'm also going to offer you some special discounted rates on my a la carte services or my consulting services. But you're going to get, with that all access pass, you're also going to get a one-on-one consultation with me, which I normally charge for anyway. Plus, you're getting all 4 weeks of these video interviews with key movers and shakers in the industry, people who are then down to also check out your stuff. So again, make sure you go and follow Jennifer Horton at Jennifer, was it Jennifer RH on IG? Make sure you go follow at Fat Man Scoop, and make sure you're follow at I Am Global Music. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you watch this on YouTube, or if you watch this on Google Hangouts, or if you're catching a clip later on down the line, I really thank you for supporting the culture of independent artistry, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day.